Just over 2 years since Myanmar's military took power in a coup, conflict continues to rage between the junta and resistance forces. A new report from a UK-based investigative research group says there's data which suggests likely involvement by Myanmar's military in a mass killing earlier this month. At least 22 civilians were killed in a monastery in southern Shan State. That's a remote region in the northeast of the country. It's thought there'd been intense fighting in the area at the time. Both sides have denied responsibility. And a warning, this report contains distressing images from the start.
On spiritual grounds, anti-government fighters make a grisly discovery. Bullet-riddled bodies slumped against the monastery's wall. Among the dead, 3 monks in saffron robes. In the days before the attack, apparent airstrikes seen hitting surrounding areas.
The tactics we have seen in this investigation are the calling card of the Myanmar military. The intentional airstrikes, what appear to be intentional airstrikes that are unguided, that impact civilian infrastructure.
Many fled, according to resistance fighters and villagers, but the victims allegedly stayed behind, seeking refuge in the monastery when the junta swept through. The army says the rebels carried out the killings.
We're highly confident that the perpetrators were, for at least part of the occurrence itself, the Myanmar military. And that is based on the presence of domestically manufactured munitions, such as ammo, such as weaponry, that they have been proven to use in the past.
Using open source data, Myanmar Witness, which is funded by the UK and Australian governments, also found indications of a cover-up. The research group pointing to weapons seen on the first set of images to surface of the attack, which was uploaded to a pro-junta social media app. But in images taken when rebel forces moved in, the weapons were gone. Other rights groups are also investigating this attack.
It's really difficult to say definitively who the perpetrator was, but knowing what the military is capable of, knowing what they've done in the past, and seeing these patterns in this incident as well, certainly makes us think that perhaps the military are implicated.
Since the coup more than 2 years ago, a bloody crackdown on protests has given rise to an armed struggle against the junta. The conflict displacing more than 1 million people, according to the UN. In a show of force, the military chief this week vowing to crush resistance forces. 40 political parties have been dissolved, including deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi's former ruling party for failing to register in time for the next election.
I think what it shows is that the military is getting fairly desperate. They're really desperate for getting some kind of credibility or acknowledgement of legitimacy from international parties.
The move sparking condemnation, including from Australia and the US. Lynn Evelyn, SBS World News.
And SBS reached out to the Myanmar embassy in Canberra for a comment, but has not received a reply.